I've been in finance for over a decade, 3 years studying it, 9 years working in banking, and now teaching it to thousands through this YouTube channel. And here's something I've noticed. The people with real money, they don't act the way you'd expect. They're not flashy, they're not loud about it. And honestly, you could sit next to a millionaire at your local coffee shop and have absolutely no idea. But once you know what to look for, the signs are everywhere. So in this video, I'm breaking down signs that someone is secretly wealthy. And more importantly, how adopting the same habits could completely change your own financial life. So let's start with the first one. The first sign that someone's secretly wealthy is this. They are weirdly calm when money comes up in conversation. And I don't mean this showing off or trying to act like money doesn't matter. It's the opposite, actually. They just don't get awkward about it. Most people, the second money gets mentioned, salaries, rent, how much something costs, there's this shift. People get defensive. They start comparing. They immediately change the subject because it feels uncomfortable. But wealthy people, they can talk about money the same way they talk about the weather. There's no weird energy. There's no flexing. There's no downplaying. It's just information to them. And here's the thing, that calmness, it isn't a personality trait. It's a position. If you think about it, strong emotional reactions to money usually mean one thing. They mean scarcity or insecurity. When you're calm around money, you can actually negotiate better. You can plan long term without spiraling. You could invest rationally instead of emotionally. So if you want to get more comfortable around money, here are some of the things that I did that worked for me. First, practice using neutral language. So instead of saying something is expensive or something is cheap, just say the actual number. That's $120 or £120. Not that's so expensive, just the fact. Second, do regular money check-ins. I know it sounds boring, but looking at your finances weekly or monthly makes it familiar, and familiarity kills anxiety. Third, talk about money on purpose. Have low-stake conversations with friends or your partner about it. The goal isn't to agree on everything, it's just to desensitize yourself to the topic. The second sign someone's secretly wealthy is they spend money on the most boring stuff imaginable. I'm talking accountants, insurance, index funds, cleaners, quality tools that make their life easier. Not flashy, not Instagrammable, just effective. This is the classic wealth versus consumption divide, right? Flashy spending is the designer bags, the luxury cars, the expensive holidays you post about. It's all the stuff that creates three problems. One, it depreciates pretty fast. Two, it inflates your lifestyle, so now you need more money just to maintain the same feeling. And three, it creates social pressure to keep up. Boring spending does the opposite. It protects you when things go wrong. It compounds quietly over time, and it frees up your mental and physical bandwidth so you can focus on things that actually matter. In fact, research on consumer spending backs this up. Experiences, time-saving services, and stress-reducing purchases, these correlate way more strongly with long-term satisfaction than material status goods, which only give you short-lived happiness spikes. In other words, boring spending lasts longer. Here's the thing though, nobody's ever posted a photo on Instagram and captioned it, "Just hired a great accountant, feeling blessed." But that accountant might quietly be the reason that they retire early. So if you want to adopt this habit, start by auditing your maintenance spending. Ask yourself, what keeps my life running smoothly? Invest there first before you upgrade lifestyle items. Second, prioritize spending that reduces recurring friction. One-time costs that eliminate ongoing stress. Systems, help, automation usually pay for themselves over time. And third, delay visible upgrades. Wait a specific period of time before buying anything that is status-based. If you still want it after the novelty wears off, fine, but most purchases don't survive the pause. And finally, track returns in time and energy, not in excitement. If a purchase saves you an hour a week or removes stress from your life, it's probably a smart financial decision. The third sign that someone's secretly wealthy is this: they're noticeably unhurried when it comes to money. And I'm not talking about being indecisive or being lazy. I mean, they genuinely don't rush. They don't panic buy during hype cycles. They don't rush into investments because everyone else is doing it. They pause, they ask questions, they're completely comfortable saying, I'll think about that. Because long-term wealth isn't built by chasing every good opportunity. It's built by avoiding bad decisions and letting compounding work uninterrupted. You want to make low-stake decisions quickly and high-stake decisions slowly. And that applies in almost every aspect of a life. It applies to careers, to businesses, to life decisions, almost everything. So if you want to get better at not rushing, start by introducing a mandatory pause rule for yourself. For any big financial decision, wait. 24 hours for small ones, 7 days for medium ones, 30 days for life-altering ones. Because urgency fades and clarity usually improves. Second, ask yourself this question: what happens if I do nothing? This alone filters out a shocking number of bad opportunities. Third, build a financial slack. Emergency funds, low fixed costs, cash buffers, these buy your time, and time removes pressure. Pressure is what causes rushed mistakes. The secretly wealthy understand that being able to wait is a superpower. And the best part is that it's a superpower that you can build just by adding some sort of pause at the right time in your financial life. The fourth sign someone's secretly wealthy is this: at some point, their income went up, but their lifestyle didn't follow it step for step. They didn't upgrade everything at once. They didn't turn every raise into a new monthly payment. They didn't inflate their baseline cost of living. They had, at some point, the same stuff, the same habits, the same general life, just with more margin underneath. And this isn't extreme frugality. It's not about deprivation. It's intentional restraint. And this is honestly one of the biggest drivers of actual wealth, because when your income rises faster than your spending, three things happen. The surplus can be invested, your financial security or your buffer grow quickly, and your optionality increases. But lifestyle inflation is sneaky because it feels like progress. You got a raise, so you deserve to upgrade your apartment, right? You're doing well, so why not get a nicer car? But the thing is that it locks you into higher obligations. And the book, The Millionaire Next Door, really stuck with me because the authors in the book, they mentioned that most millionaires don't live in expensive neighborhoods. They don't drive luxury cars. They didn't display visible wealth, even though they had high incomes. Their defining trait wasn't earning, it was controlled consumption. That quiet gap between what they earned and what they spent, that's where wealth accumulated. And that's what it comes down to. Wealth isn't built by what you earn. It's built by the gap between what you earn and what you spend. So think of income like water pressure and lifestyle like the pipe. If you keep widening the pipe every time pressure increases, nothing ever fills up. But if you keep that pipe stable, suddenly you've got reserves. So if you want to avoid lifestyle inflation, here's what works for me. First, save raises before you feel them. Automate investing or saving so the money disappears before your lifestyle has a chance to absorb it. Second, delay upgrades intentionally. Give yourself a rule. I only upgrade when the old thing breaks or meaningfully limits my life, not just because you can afford something better. And finally, separate comfort from status. Spend freely on comfort, sleep, health, time. These are really, really worth it. But be way more selective with status-driven upgrades. The secretly wealthy understand that every time their income goes up, they have a choice. They can widen the pipe and feel temporarily better, or they can keep the pipe stable and actually build wealth. Most people choose the first option without even realizing it. The wealthy consciously choose the second. The next sign someone's secretly wealthy is that they don't ask, how much does this cost, as the first question. They often ask, how long will this take? Or is this worth my energy? Or could I buy this time back? They still care about price. They're not reckless, but time is often the unit that they optimize for. Why does this matter? This mindset shift usually happens once money stops being the main bottleneck in your life. Because when you start optimizing for time, everything changes. You delegate sooner, you focus on higher leverage work, you stop penny pinching in ways that actually cost you hours. And here's what I've learned: wealth compounds fastest when your time is spent on high value decisions, skill building, rest and recovery. And these are all things which people wildly underestimate. People who have more of a scarcity mindset protect cash. People with more of an abundant mindset protect attention and time. If you want to start thinking this way, first calculate your rough hourly value. Divide your annual income by your working hours and use it as a thinking tool, not a rigid rule. But if something costs less than your hourly value and saves you time, it's often worth outsourcing that thing. Second, identify your time leaks. List the tasks that you repeatedly avoid or resent. These are prime candidates for automation, delegation, or elimination. And third, buy back intentionally. Meal kits, better tools, direct flights. These aren't luxuries if they meaningfully improve your energy or your focus. And finally, protect your best hours. Do high impact work when your brain is sharp. Use money to shield those hours from low value tasks.
Every entrepreneur knows the holidays are make or break season. Product drops, gift bundles, last minute launches. It's exciting and it's a bit chaotic. That's why so many people, myself included, turn to Shopify, today's sponsor, to keep things running smoothly. Shopify powers 10% of all US e-commerce and millions of businesses worldwide. And it's the best place to start and grow your business, whether you're selling locally or globally. Instead of juggling multiple platforms for payment, shipping, design, and marketing, Shopify lets you handle everything in one place. It basically operates as a back office, replacing the need for full staff to oversee your operations so that you can stay focused on the things that matter. I launched my very first online business on Shopify and went from idea to live store in minutes. By day one, I had a very professional shop ready to take payments and run itself with 24/7 support backing me up. So whether you're just wanting to test an idea out or you're getting serious about launching your own brand, it's never been easier to get started on shopify.com/Nischa.
The next sign, and the one that ties all of this together, is that secretly wealthy people don't need you to know. No humble brags, no accidental mentions, no lifestyle broadcasting. If you find out they're wealthy, it's usually by accident and much later, and through something boring like what they own, not through what they buy. Their identity isn't built on money, so they don't use money to signal identity. Why does this matter? Needing others to see your wealth is expensive because signaling behavior leads to overspending. It leads to lifestyle inflation. It leads to decisions optimized for image instead of being optimized for outcomes. But quiet wealth allows money to stay invested, compounding, unpressured by social comparison. The less money is used for validation, the more efficiently it works for you. And Morgan Housel sums this up perfectly. He says, wealth is what you don't see. It's the cars not bought. It's the upgrades declined. It's the lifestyle inflation resisted. And even if I'm thinking about the wealthiest people I know, they actually don't drive the nicest car, nor would you notice them in a room, but you would notice the freedom they have when decisions need to be made, how they can say no, they can walk away, they can take risks that other people can't afford to take because their wealth isn't tied up in appearances, it's working for them behind the scenes. And honestly, this is arguably the most important one on the list. If you want to adopt this mindset, start by stopping the narration of your financial moves. You don't need an audience for saving, investing, or restraint. Just do it quietly. Second, separate private success from public identity. Ask yourself, would I still want this if no one ever knew? If not, pause. Third, reduce financial comparison inputs. Unfollow or mute content that turns money into performance. Because the more you consume that stuff, the harder it is to stay grounded. And finally, let results speak quietly. Focus on your net worth, on your optionality, on your peace, not on external approval. And here's the truth. Most people are playing the wrong game. They're playing the status game where we're all trying to one-up each other. My Range Rover only improves my status if you don't have one. If everyone else has one, it doesn't help me climb up this ladder of status and ranking. But the secretly wealthy, they're playing the wealth game. They're very, very aware that it's not about what everyone can see. It's about what's going on behind the scenes. The money in the bank being invested into assets, the businesses that they're trying to build on the side, the money that they're spending on self-development is all the things that can have a positive ROI and that can ultimately buy you freedom and the power to live life on your own terms. That is it. Those are some of the main signs that someone is secretly wealthy. And the best part, these aren't things you need money to start building. They're very much mindset shifts, they're habits, they're ways of thinking about money that you can adopt right now. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, feel free to share it with someone who might be feeling financially behind. And if you want more content like this, remember to subscribe. It is completely 100% free, and I'll see you next week.